Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle. And take that easiness with a grain of salt because it's considered easy by the people on the Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there. Today's puzzle is called Round Trip, and it's by actually a setter he's been putting a lot of effort in his setting. He's doing a really good job. It's called the setter is Deda Costa, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive, and digits separated by a black dot are in a 1-to-2 ratio. That is, one digit is double the other. Not all dots are given. So these is normal Kropke dot rules. So for example, if this were, say, a 6, this would have to be a 5 or a 7 to make sure that these are consecutive. If this were, say, a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 4 to make sure that this is in a 1-to-2 ratio. That's how Kropke dots work. We also have digits in cages don't repeat and sum to the given total in the upper left corner. So therefore, these two digits add up to 14, these two add up to 10, these two add up to 17, which is actually probably giveaway, and these two add up to 12. So that's how and these are called killer cages normally, and that's how killer cages work. We also have digits on an arrow sum to the given total in the upper left corner. So, for example, these two digits add up to what this digit is, and these three digits also add up to what this digit is. These two digits add up to what this digit is. So as an example, we could have something like 4, 4, and 8. And these two digits along the arrow sum up to what the circle the arrow is attached to is. That's how arrows work. We also have, man, there's a lot of rules here. A sandwich sums rules applies, where values outside the grid, it's supposed to be grid, G-R-I-D, instead of greed. He still needs to work on a little bit on some of his spellings, but that's okay. Show the sum of the digits between 1 and 9 in the corresponding row or column. So this is typically called sandwich Sudoku rules, which means you have a 0 here, which says that between the 1 and 9, wherever they are, the digits that are in between the 1 and 9 must sum to the number that's outside the grid, which in this case is all zeros. So that means in these columns, the 1s and the 9s must be next to each other because the digits in between them must sum to 0. And that's how sandwich sum or sandwich Sudoku rules work. And then finally, we have the final rule, which is the disjoint set rule, where cells that occupy the same relative position in their corresponding box cannot contain the same digit. For example, row 1, column 1 cannot be the same as row 4, column 4, and so on and so on. So it cannot be the same as any of these cells. So basically, for the disjoint sets, you cannot occupy the digit in that. Whatever digits here cannot be in any of the same relative positions in any of the boxes. So it's another restriction on normal Sudoku rules. So instead of, in addition to no repeats in any row, column, or box, you can't also have a repeat in the same position in a box. So therefore, again, this cell cannot be repeated in any of the cells in the same positioning of all the rest of the boxes. That's what it means. Anyways, that's it, and good luck and happy solve. Thank you, Dedicosta. Those are the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, my eye was immediately drawn to the 17 cage, which means this has to be 8 or 9, because those are the only two unique digits that add up to 17. Which means this cannot be 8 or 9, but it has 3 digits uniquely adding up to it. So this has to then be 6 or 7, which means this has to be 1, 2, or 3, or 1, 2, or 4. And 1 and 2 need to be in those 3 cells. This is also 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9 also. This is also 6 or 7, which means this has to be 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 4 again. Because, again, it cannot be 8 or 9, and it has 3 unique digits adding up to it. So therefore, the only possible combinations are 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4, adding up to 6 and 7. What is the rest of column 8? It has to be 3, 4, or 5. This is also 6, 7, 8, 9, which means these digits are 1 through 6. These digits are 1 through 6. Here we can, okay, so for the 16, it's either 5 and 9 adding up to 14, or 6 and 8. If this were 6 and 8 adding up to 14, that would force this to be 7. This would have to be 9. And these three would be 1, 3, 5, or 2, 3, 4. We're not sure which. I think that's all we have right now. Yeah, that's all we have right now, information-wise. Let's look at this central cell. Well, where can 9 be? 9 cannot be on an arrow. And 9 is not in a 1 to 2 ratio with anything, let alone being consecutive with 2 digits. So 9 has to be one of the cells on the outside. Where can 1 be? 1 cannot be in any of the circles because they are the sum of 2 digits. And obviously 1 could only be the sum of 1 digit. So it could be any of these cells. But if 1 were essentially this cell, that would make this 2 to be in a 1 to 2 ratio. And this 2 can only be consecutive with 1 and 3. So that's not allowed. So 1 cannot be here. 1 cannot be in the center here because, again, 1 would have to be in... It would be consecutive with 2 digits, and 1 is not consecutive with 2 digits. So 1 has to be one of these 3 cells. If either of these are 1, this must be 2, and the other one must be 3. Right? So if either of these are 1, this has to be 2. This has to be 3 here, which forces this to be 4. Okay, that's possible. If this is 1, 2 cannot be here. 2 could be actually here, and this is 1 and 1. That's possible. What other combinations could there be? Can you have 2, 3, and 4? You could, right? So it could be 2, 3, 4. And this would then be 6. So if this is 1, 2, 3, this is 4. This has to be 5, 6, 7, or 8. Otherwise, this is 1. You could have 2, 3, 4, 6. Or this could be 4. And you could have 3 and 5. This would be 1. This could then be 2 or 8. Because the 2 actually could be here with 1 and 1. And then this would be 1. What else could this be? Could this, okay, 6, 5, and 7. Could that work? 6, 5, and 7 would mean this is 3, this is 1. Six, this would be 3. This would be 1. 5 and 7 would be here. You would have to have a 2 be next to the 1, and the 4 be next to the 3. And these would all be 1s. That's interesting. So let's mark this through. If this is 6, this is 5 and 7. This has to be 3. This is 1. Where's the 2? The 2 has to be here, which makes this 1 and 1. The 4, where's that? Has to be here, which makes that a 1. Then we have 8 and 9 remaining. I guess that kind of works. Not great, though. But... So 3 and 6 could work. And this could never be 8. So this could be 6 and... oops. This could be 6 and 3, and this is 5 and 7. So that does work. Let's see. What are these digits? They must be 1 through 6. Because they add up to 7 at most. Same here. 1 through 6. Okay, let's say, okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, let's clear this out. Let's take a look at this and say this was 1, 2, or 3 in some order, right? Well, this has to be a 4. The 1, 2, 3 means we eliminate 1, 2, and 3 in the rest of the row. So this would have to be a 4, which forces this to be 1 and 2. This is then a 7, which makes that a 6. This has to be 1, 2, and 3. So this can't be 2. This can't be 1. This is 5, 6, 7, or 8. The 1 in this row must be next to an... This can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has to be 5 or 6. which means this cannot be 5 or 6, and this can't be 4, because you have to have 5 or 6, which means if it's 5, it could be 1, 2, or 1, 3 adding up to it. So this is 8 or 9. This is 7. This cannot be 7 here. That means the 9 would have to be one of these two digits. We're not sure which, depending on where the 1 is. Interesting. Well, this would have to be 1, 5 or 2, 4 here. This would have to have a 1 here. Oh, which means this cannot be 1. This would have to be a 1 then, because one of these two is 1. The only one that could be next to a 9 is here. So this would be 9. Then this would be 1, 2, and or it could be 1, either 2 or 3 with 5 or 6. This would be 9. This could not be 3, 9. It's 4, 8, or 5, 7. This all looks kosher. This cannot be 9, so this cannot contain a 6 anymore. This is 6 or 8, which means this cannot be a 6-8 pair, because that would eliminate all possibilities here. Therefore, this is 5 or 9. One of these is a 9, which means there has to be a 1 in either here or here. We're not sure which. This is really convoluted just to try to disprove something. Anyways, let's see what else we can do. This can never longer be 8 because this is a 1. So then this would have to be at least 2. 2 through 4. This cannot be 8. Okay, so that's all just from... So therefore this can never be an 8 because we've disproven that. This can't be 4, therefore this can't be 2 to add up to 6. We also have disjoint set. I forgot about that. But I don't see where I can apply it, though. Oh, this can't be 6. Oh, that's where we can apply it. Okay, I see it. Okay. Because of disjoint set, so all of that rigmarole showed, first of all, we cannot have 8 here. Also, because of disjoint set, we have a 6, 7, 6, 7 pair in the center cell of all the 9 digits. So that eliminates 6 and 7 from the rest of the center cells. Therefore, this can't be 6 or 7. This can't be 6 or 7. We now have an 8, 9 pair in all the center cells of the disjoint sets. So this cannot be 6. This cannot be 6. This has to be 1 through 5. This can't be 6. Therefore, we have a set now. This cannot be 6, which means this can't be 3. These cannot be 7, so because that required a 6 in the middle. So we now have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuplet in row 5, which eliminates 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the rest of the row. Therefore, this is 6 through 9, this is 6 through 9, this is 6 through 9, and this is 6 through 9. This 10 cannot, because of the 8, 9 pair in the column, cannot be 1, 9, or 2, 8. It has to be 3, 7, or 4, 6. Because of that, we know this cannot be 2, 3, and 4 adding up to 9. Therefore, it's either 1, 2, 8, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 4, both adding up to 8. It can't be 1, 3, 4. So it's either 1, 2, 5 adding up to 8. It could be 1, 3, 5 adding up to 9. Or it's 1, 2, 6 adding up to 9. So in all of those cases, there must be a 1 in one of those 3 cells. Well, where is the 9 correspondingly in that place? It has to be here. So this is 1, which is next to the 9. So this is guaranteed then. We know this is guaranteed because in this column, there is a sum of 0 between the 1 and 9. So this cannot be 1. This cannot be 9 anymore, so that's an 8, which means this cannot be a 6, 8 pair. This has to be 5 and 9, which eliminates 5 in the rest of the row. Therefore, this must specifically be 1, 3, and 4, adding up to 8. This has to be 1, 2, and 6 as a possibility. So this could be 2, and that could be 6, or this is 3, 5. Well, 5 in the center of boxes in each box, where can it be? It can't be here, can't be here anymore, can't be here, can't be here, can't be here. It must be here. So this is 5, which makes this a 3, which makes this a 4, 6 pair here, adding up to 8, or sorry, adding up to 10. The remaining digits are 2 and 7 then. This is 2 and 7, this is 2 and 7. This must add up to 8. So it's either 1, 7, but 2, 6, or 3, 5. But 3 and 5 cannot be here because of this 5 and 3 in the box. So this can't be 3 or 5 either. If this were 1, it would not be next to a 9. So this can't be 1, which means this can't be 7. This can no longer be 5 here. This can't be 5 here, which means it cannot be 4 in the middle. So this is specifically 2 or 3. 2 is in a ratio with 4. And 3 is in a ratio with 6. Either way, if this is 2, this is 1, 2, 3. If this is 3, this is 2, 3, 4. So 2 and 3 cannot be in the rest of row 5. So this cannot be 2 or 3. It's 1 or 4 here then. Okay. This is now 4, 8, or 5, 7. We're not sure which. This one, well, we don't know. 1 could still be here. Where is the 1, though? The 1 is in these 3 cells in row 5. So 9 cannot be, 9 has to be next to it. So this can't be 9 because it's not next to a 1. We do have a 4, 6, 4, 6 pair in row 4, which eliminates 4 and 6 in the rest of the row. This can't be 4. This can't be 6, which means this can't be 2. These cannot be 4 or 6. None of these could be 2 or 3 either. Okay. These digits must add up to 9. It could be 1, 8, but 1 can't be here, so 8 can't be here. Cannot be 2, 7 because that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell. Could be 3, 6, or 4, 5. So those are all potentially there. 3 cannot be here. So this cannot be 4. Well, no, it could be 4. This can't be 1. So this cannot be 6. That is legitimate there. 5 could still be here because it could be 2, 5 adding up to 7. We don't know what these digits are. One of these digits is 9, which means there must be a 1 in either here or here. But we're not sure. This is at least 5. Cannot be 6, though, obviously. Because of the 4, 6 pair in the row. What are the remaining digits in row 2? It's 2, 6, and 7. So, if this is 1, 7, the rest of the column cannot contain a 7. If this is 2, 6, that forces this to be 7, which means the rest of the row cannot, or the rest of the column cannot contain a 7. Therefore, this can't be 7 either. If 1 is here, that means 9 would have to be here, which would force this to be 5, which would force that to be 9. But then there are 2 digits between the 1 and 9 in this column, which negates that. So this cannot be 1. We don't have an equivalent here. So this can never be 3. If this were 3, this would have to be 2, and that would be 1. So this can't be 3 here. So the 1 is one of these 2 digits. We're not sure which. Also, the 1 is either here or here. Well, okay, so if this were 9, say this were 9, that would mean the 1 would have to be one of these 2 cells. But this 9 would also imply that 1 has to be here also, because it can't be here anymore. But that doesn't work. So therefore, this cannot be 9. So 9 has to be one of these 2 cells. So if this is 1, that forces this to be 9. If this is 1, that forces that to be 9. This can never be 9 here. I guess this could be 1, though. Maybe, yeah. These cannot be 2 or 3, so this is 4 through 9 here. This is 4 through 9 here, and this is 4 through 9 here. If this is 9, that forces this to be 1, which would force a 9 here, which would force a 1 here, so that is possible. If this is... Okay, we don't have anything there. This cannot be 9. 9 is either here or here, which makes 1 here or here, or 9 is one of these 2. If 1 is here, which could be the case, there's 1 in columns 6 and 7, which have to be here or here. If 1 is here, that means the 9 would have to be one of these two columns also, which means 9 could not be in the rest of column 6 and 7, which would mean one of these two is a 9. Oh, interesting. If this is 1 and 9, oh, there's nothing there. Never mind. If this is 1 and 9, that's interesting too. This is at least 2. It'd be 2 through 8, unfortunately, so that's pretty broad. Wait, hold up. 4 is always going to be in one of these 3 cells here. If this is 1, 2, 3, that forces this to be 4 to be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Otherwise, this is 3 with 2 and 4. So 4 cannot be in the rest of box 5. Okay. Okay, we also have... Okay, so these are the sandwiches. Let's do that for now. None of these could be sandwiches. None of these can be sandwiches here. Oh, if this is 1, 2, 4 adding up to 7, the problem is that would eliminate all possibilities for this 12 cage, right? Because it requires 4, 8 or 5, 7. And if you had this being 1, 2, 4 adding up to 7, that would eliminate all possibilities. Therefore, this must be 1, 2, and 3, which makes this a 6. So that we're going down the correct path. Therefore, this is 7, which means none of these can be 7. This has to be 1, 2, and 4 then. And this is now 4, 5, 7, 8. And this is 4, 5, 7, 8. This can't be 4. This can't be 4. These add up to 7, and these add up to 6. So it's specifically 1, 5 or 2, 4 here. This can't be 1, so this can't be 5 here. We have in box 6 a 1, 2, 4 triplet, which eliminates 1, 2, and 4 in the rest of the box. So there must be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 3. We now 3, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, and this can't be 9. This can't be 8 because it must be with a 2 or 3 or 4. This could be 5, 6, or 7 though. This 2, 6 means this cannot be a 2, 6 pair adding because that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell. Therefore, this must be 1 and 7 here, which means 7 cannot be in row 4. 7 cannot be here. So where is the 7 in row 5? It has to be one of these two cells. This also can't be 7 because of disjoint set. This can't be 1 because of disjoint set, so this can't be 8. 7 has to be one of these two cells, which means this can't be 7. This is 5 or 6. This cannot be 5 or 6 because it requires at least a 2 and a 5. So this has to be 8 or 9 here. This can't be 1, so this is at least 2, which means this cannot be 5. Well, we have an 8 and 9, 8 and 9 pair now in row 4, which eliminates 8 and 9 from the rest of the row. This can't be 8 or 9. This can't be 8 or 9. This can't be 6 because of the 3 of the 4, 6 pair, and this can't be 4. Well, what does that leave here? This must be 1 or 2. That means this is 6 at most, so this can't be 7, 8, or 9. None of these can be 9, and none of these can be 8 either. So this is 7 at most, which means this cannot be 8. This is 2 at most. Okay, so it's 1 cannot be here. The 9 that's here has to have a 1 next to it. So this must be specifically 1 and 6, because those are the only possibilities in that column. Sorry, yeah, in that column relating to the 9, right? This cannot be 9 because this can't be 1 and this can't be 1. So this must be an 8, which forces this to be a 9. The 9 must be next to a 1, so this is a 1, which makes this 2. This can't be 2 or 1, so this is 4, which makes that a 1. Whereas this 1 eliminates 1 in the center cells of all the boxes. Therefore, we have a 2, 3 pair in the center cells of the boxes, and it can't be 1, so this must be 4. Which means this can't be 4. This is a 1, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 1. So these two are the sandwich, the breads of the sandwiches. These can't be sandwich clues then. This could still be 1, 9 here. We know... So this is a 1. We have all the 1s. We can mark those. This can't be 1 anymore. So to add up to another digit, this has to be 4, and this must be 5. Which makes this 3, this is 2. This must be 6 to add up to 8. This 3 is with a 6 in a 1 to 2 ratio. This must be a 1. Therefore, this is 1, which forces this to be 9. Therefore, this is 8, which makes that 9. This cannot be 9 anymore. So we have a 6, 8, 6, 8 pair in row 5, which eliminates 6 and 8 from the rest of the row. Therefore, this is 7. This can't be 6 here because of this 6, so this must be 1, which makes that a 6. This 1 has to be next to a 9 to maintain the 0 sandwich clue in the column. This can't be 1. Where is the 1 in row 8? It has to be here, which means a 9 must be next to it. So one of these is a 9. That can't be a 9, so this must be a 9. Whoops. How did I get these all red? These are all gray. These are red. This is gray now. This is a red. This is a red. These are all gray. So we have all the 9s. Or do we? We do not. This is a 6. This can't be 6 because of this 6, so this must be 4. This must be 3 to add up with 6 to add up to 9. This is a 6. This can't be 5 or 6, so this must be 7, which makes that a 6. This can't be 4 or 5, which eliminates this from being 7 or 8. This can't be 4, 5, or 6, which makes this a 3, and therefore this is a 6, adding up to 9. None of these can be 1s, so therefore, and where is the 1 actually? We have, this is also a 1. So this cannot be 1. This becomes a 2, 4 pair here, which eliminates 2 and 4 from the rest of the column. So this cannot be 4. This can't be 2. This is a 6, which makes this a 2, which makes that a 7, which makes that a 2. This cannot be a 1. Where is the last 1? Because we have 8 of them. It has to be here. So this is a 1 and is a end point. This can't be end. This can't be an end. None of these can be ends. None of these can be ends. None of these could be ends of the sandwich. None of these could be ends of the sandwich. 9, this can't be ends up a sandwich, neither can these, neither can this. This cannot be because we have a 1 and a 9 in the row. This can't be either. 9 is one of these two. 9 cannot be any of these. Actually, we have remaining digit as a 4. This is a 4, which makes this a 2, which makes that a 4. Remaining digits here are 2 and 9, but this can't be 2, so this must be 9, which makes that a 2. So this is a sandwich. This is not. This cannot be a sandwich. This can't be 7, so therefore this can't be 5. This can't be 4, 5. And again, this adds up to 12, because these add up to 12. This can't be 3 because of that 3, so this must be a 2, which makes that a 3. This is 7 or 8, so this is 4, 5. 9 is one of these two. 9 cannot be a top middle. Cannot be a top middle cell. So this cannot be a 9. Which makes this a 9. And this has to be a 9 then. This is not. These are red. And with the disjoint sets, we should be fairly quickly able to solve this. This can't be 3, so this must be 5, which makes this a 3. This can't be 3, so this is 5, which makes that a 3. This can't be a 7 because of that 7 in the same position, so this must be 8, which makes that a 4, which makes that a 5, and therefore that's a 7. Okay, so we think we have all the 1s. Do we have all the 2s? We do not. But this can't be 2 here, and the rest of the digits are filled, so this must be a 2, which means we have a 2 in the last position. It must be here. What about 3s? We have 8 3s, so we should be able to figure out where the last one is. It has to be here. 4s. We do not have all the 4s, but we know in box 1 it cannot be here or here, so it must be here. And now we have 8 4s, so the last 4 is here. 5s. We know it has to be here in box 1. It has to be here in box 3. And it has to be here in box 8. So that's 5s. And then we have 6s. 6 cannot be here, so this must be 6 here. I think that's the last one, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And therefore this must be 8. Now look at 7s. 7s cannot be here or here, so this must be a 7. 7 cannot be here, so this must be a 7. 7 must be here. So that's all the 7s now. 8s. 8 has to be here. 8 has to be here. 8 has to be here. And the last 8 is here. And that's the solve. Congratulations, you got the solution. More puzzles coming soon. Yeah, it took me a little longer. It wasn't... I guess I think I overcomplicated certain things. Particularly, I didn't see the disjoint set until fairly late, which required certain restrictions. But very cool interaction, actually, with the disjoint sets and the clues that were given. Particularly with the arrows. That was actually pretty clever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.